Our special guest this morning is Rick Applegate, who knows just about everything you could ever want to know about all things economic, financial, and of course the stock market. And Rick, it's always good to continue talking to you. I'm glad we have you for an extra segment.
Yes.
There was so much news last week. We've talked about some of it with respect to the markets. But let me ask you about the Time Warner the merger, AT&T Time Warner merger. Can you tell us a little bit? What is it? What is it? Describe it to us. What is it that these two behemoths want to do?
This was something that had been in the works for quite some time and had been put aside as being an antitrust issue, i.e. too much of a monopoly, so they wouldn't allow it to happen. Right. What happened this week was that a judge in a court said, no problem, go ahead and get it done. And it's like, whoa, all of a sudden, vertical alignment has become a major issue within the entertainment business, but perhaps in other industries as well, where there's been a hand on the head to push back on concerns of you're too big with another too big company to get involved. So AT&T taking the assets and the distribution capabilities of Time Warner and putting it together, what we call vertical alignment, meaning that you got a distributor married with now a producer of content.
Right. And let's remind everybody that Time Warner's CNN.
That's right. As well as it also has HBO and it has other product lines out there, which are very desirable if you want to be able to compete with the Netflixes that are coming on strong.
And AT&T, which is a cable provider and an internet provider, essentially will now be able to take content and provide it to their subscribers.
That's right.
And the concern is that there will be pricing discrimination, essentially, so that if you're not an AT&T customer, you might not be able to get HBO or CNN or any of these other lines that are part of Time Warner.
Unless you're willing to pay for it. And where does that money ultimately come from? The consumer. So I like HBO, I like the Game of Thrones, but I'm not going to be in the AT&T network. Oh, you're with Comcast or you're with Verizon. Well, here's the price for that Comcast or Verizon. Plus, we got to keep in mind, too, the deal we're talking about, $85 billion deal, right?
Unbelievable.
Where's that cost going to come from? So we have a lot of money circulating here, which ultimately, almost invariably, ends up coming out of the pockets of consumers.
You know, there's a relationship here with the whole net neutrality issue, it seems to me. Because if I understand correctly, net neutrality, essentially, this was protections put in place during the Obama years that basically said that those who distribute internet content can't discriminate. They can't set higher prices for one. They can't throttle the speed by which you get a certain content. So if you were a Verizon customer, something produced by AT&T, for example, or by Comcast, could not be slower speeded to you because you didn't subscribe. These were really, I mean, my own personal view is these were important protections. The Trump administration has abandoned all that.
That's right.
Basically said, let the free market play. We don't think there'll be pricing discrimination. We don't think there'll be much changes. What do you think?
I would actually side with your view. I think that the net neutrality was a good idea, but keep in mind when it was passed back in 2015 under the Obama administration, it was purposely intended to protect the smaller players wanting to be in the internet world, against the giants. So what has happened in the ensuing 3-4 year period here is that the giants are now controlling the land. And with this act having been eliminated, the Net Neutrality Act eliminated, they're really now in control. And that worries me to where this could all go in terms of access, not just for the small players, but at the end of the day, this whole issue of, as we talked about before with AT&T buying Time Warner, is I control this now. And if this is what you want, here's what it's going to cost you. So we've only opened the door on this Pandora's box, given now Comcast and Disney are in a fight to buy the assets of 20th Century Fox. We've only seen the beginning of this.
This conglomeratization, I guess is a word you can use about this, is worrisome because it seems to me that it ultimately can block access and availability to anybody who wants to go on their devices and watch content. And let's face it, you know, the truth is that a lot of folks, we hate to admit this, but a lot of folks are not watching their television sets. they're getting their content, particularly my kids in their 20s, they're getting all their content from handheld devices.
Right.
And so and whether it's Netflix or whatever it is they're watching, their ability to get this really depends on an openness of the market.
You know, I think, we were talking about the net neutrality, and we were also talking about the merger acquisition of AT&T and Time Warner and what yet is to come. I think that interwoven in those two issues that we have to be concerned about is the positioning of antitrust laws.
Yes.
And in that regard, this vertical alignment that I talked about before doesn't apply just to entertainment. Think about the CVS acquisition, for example, of Aetna.
Yeah.
I mean, right? You have the ability to control the drugstore chain and then in turn how it's being reimbursed.
Right. And it's a real up in the air question as to where the Justice Department is on this.
That's right.
In fairness to President Trump, he opposes the AT&T Time Warner merger. Now, many people think it's
because of CNN.
Because he doesn't. Right, that's a CNN impact on that. But I think we do have to see as we move forward in the next remaining years of the Trump administration, where is the Justice Department on these mega mergers? Yeah. Are they going to play a role, as you point out, in antitrust action, or are they just going to step back?
And most important, too, to conclude on the net neutral issue is the fact. So this has gotten passed over from the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, to the FTC. Yes. So the watchdog now in charge of this issue is overloaded with problems to be able to attack also this emerging issue.
Yeah, good point, good point. Yeah. Well, there's always so much to talk about, Rick Applegate, but it's great to have you on the show to cover as much as we could in a very short period of time.
My pleasure.
Thank you again, sir.
And
always
happy
good to
Father's
be with
Day.
you. Thank you, and the same to you. When the Sunday Business page continues using architectural innovation to help solve America's energy challenges, one building at a time. The story of NK Architects, Brandon Nicholson, will join us. Stick with us.